Good morning and welcome to another midweek episode of Wake Up Nigeria.
Of course, Wednesdays are the midpoint of the week, a change to reassess, or a chance actually, to reassess, refocus, recharge, and refuel your ambitions. Of course, we are here to inject your morning with that energy and positivity that it needs.
2024 is already well gone, 2 weeks into the year. How is your year going so far?
How's yours going, by the way, Mike?
Well, it's still in the phases where it's still starting. So, yeah, it's still there.
Slow and
just
steady,
trying to see how it
know,
goes.
just,
Exactly, and all
taking
that.
it one stride
So
at a
hopefully
time.
you have a good year or you have a good start of the year. We're here to ensure that as you go along, your goals that you set, your resolutions and all of that, we're here to help you. Make it easy or help you achieve it along the way.
Of course. And yes, it's the midweek once again. And yes, we're here to help you, set your path, correct the mistakes that you had, in the previous year or that you made in the previous year, with our relationships that we have, on the show, our motivation, nutrition, help you, set those fitness goals, because I know that over the holidays, we ate our hearts out, literally.
But anyway,
yeah.
Winfrey, I love that dress.
Yeah, it's a beautiful look. I love
the style. Like, I feel like the dress should be without the white or something.
The dress should be without the what?
I'm just okay. I love the dress.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I'm good. I'm great. It's the start of the week for me, so yeah, I'm doing good. Not bad at all. You guys don't look bad yourself, and it's about to be a great show, so yeah.
Yes.
All right. My name is Mike Mesikeno.
And I have Emel Kocha. Remember, guys, that you can watch us live on GoTV channel 49 and on UHF 146.
Yeah. UHF at the ultra frequency is 49. And then, of course, on social media, Activity Entertainment _ on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And, of course, Instagram. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria and TVC to interact with us. Let's get into what we have this morning.
Yeah.
We kick off this morning with relationship. We're discussing, there's been talk about Omugwo.
Yeah.
And there was this trending issue about a woman who came in and the mother was eating food and not doing anything. Well, men, and that conversation in marriage, Miracle Ihoma will be our guest this morning.
And right after that, on nutrition, we are discussing stubborn fats and food consumptions with Bode Agbe Davis. She's a certified fitness trainer and transformation specialist. Of course, she's well known for, body create methods, and really looking forward to that conversation.
We have our final guest on the show today, Duke Elvis, who is an actor and film producer. He will be with us to talk to us about his career and what's on the horizon.
We maintain a very average profile.
The fight against cybercrime is not just about arresting people, taking them to court or investigating them. It is about taking the anti-corruption message to the people.
I don't think we're safe here anymore. All of us under the same roof, one swoop, and we are nabbed.
They are enemies of our nation.
All right, so yeah, that's it. Welcome. I just saw a statement from the governor of Oyo State, and for me it's quite reassuring in some ways. After the explosion yesterday night,
that was last night.
Yeah, so he was at the scene, and then an official statement from his X account says that it was some illegal miners stored some explosives in some houses, and so investigations have begun, and they will fish out those people, because it seemed like out of the blue, just an explosion and some of that. So now we can understand what happened there, and the governor has dropped out this statement, and all the security forces on everywhere, security in the country really has to, because even before that one, I feel, and that's where we also have a particular citizens. People would have known things are going on there. You can and we should report to agencies when we see things that are going on in our areas that are, untoward and on all of that. You can report. So something like this could
have been reported.
averted.
Yeah, it could have been averted.
That's it for me. It could have been averted. It's not a natural disaster or
Yes,
something that is out of our hands.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm happy that so far there's been no reports of any casualties since the blast. But I know that properties have been destroyed, in the course of it. And we're looking forward to the investigations. And well, I'm hoping that if there are any other, if, at least this would also bring to the fore, to people's knowledge to look out for, their neighbors and their surroundings for any, anything that's not, normal around them.
Your dress is so nice that you don't have something unnice to say about it.
Thank you. I don't have anything unnice to say about it.
Okay. All right, so Colonel. Now, updates on the Oyo State situation where a deadly explosion occurred that has killed reportedly 2 people and, of course, 77 casualties in Ibadan, causing residents to panic and run for safety. A loud noise was reported around 8 p.m. yesterday, echoing across different parts of the metropolis. TVC News confirmed that the incident happened at Old Bodija Adeyi Street, while the cause of the explosion has been credited to illegal miners, and of course their arsenal. Several houses were affected by the explosion. Rescue operations are still ongoing as at the time of the press report. As casualties remain quite uncertain. Now, the state government has confirmed the explosion. Residents are urged to remain calm as security agencies are investigating to determine the source and cause of the incident. Now, in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu met with service chiefs and other top brass of the security agencies at the State House yesterday. The meeting comes on the heels of renewed security breaches in some parts of the country, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, where kidnappers have wreaked some heinous brutality in the last few days. The meeting also had in attendance the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and the security chiefs, including the Inspector General of Police. Although there was no official briefing on the meeting, it is believed that President Tinubu and his security chiefs reviewed the recent security situation in parts of the country, proposing ways of taming rising free reign of criminals, including kidnappers and bandits. Meanwhile, the IG of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has called for renewed efforts to stop kidnappers and other criminally minded individuals in the Federal Capital Territory. The IGP spoke on Tuesday after meeting with the force management team and tactical squad in Abuja following the worrying state of security in the nation's capital. The IGP expressed deep concern over the unfortunate abductions in the Federal Capital Territory and emphasized the need for decisive action to curb such heinous crimes. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is in court in New York City for his second defamation case between him and writer E. Jean Carroll. Carroll, who accused Mr. Trump of rape, is suing him for damages for comments he made in 2019 about her and the allegations. Trump denies any wrongdoing. Later, he will head to New Hampshire, where the race to pick the Republican nominee for president is now gearing up ahead of the state's primary next Tuesday. Trump cemented his status as a clear frontrunner after a resounding win in Iowa, with Ron DeSantis as distant second place and Nikki Haley in third. Haley is already out campaigning in New Hampshire and says she will only join the next debate if Trump attends. But so far, Trump has not appeared at any. Whoever wins the Republican nomination will face a Democrat, most certainly Joe Biden, in the November presidential election. And that's sports and the news. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. All right, it's what's up and about, and there's something here on social media. An actor, Sheon Jimo, raised up some questions, and quite interesting take that he has here. It says Nigerians, especially the woke youth, are serious and serial cloud chasers. What comes to mind now is 5 million and FINA. That is what comes to mind, and how that has been going back and forth. But everyone is quick to jump on the justice for Mohbad bandwagon, but no justice for the kidnapped Abuja kids. Outcry has been spotted anywhere, even on their beloved social media cloud chasing space. Shana, because them no be celebrities are be. We are just like our government. We only respond when it benefits us or nurses our ego. I have hardly ever seen a genuine cry for justice in Nigeria. Either the gatherings are turned to opportunities to party or opportunities to go from page to page trolling people that don't agree with their nonsensical ideologies. A country that should wear sackcloth, sit at the gates and wail the loss of its children, stays up partying and drinking itself to stupor. One day I hope we'll have not just a responsive government, but people that truly care about their neighbors, especially when it doesn't directly massage their own egos. And it's been, people have been giving different thoughts and says, oh, that's not true, or that's true, and all about. We know that there's quite a lot. Now he's putting the responsibility on citizens as much as more of it when it comes to security. A lot of it is on the government. But like I mentioned when we were speaking about the Ibadan stuff, we can also, intelligence gathering is a big part of a security network of any place. And intelligence gathering comes from, people talking about what is happening. You see something that is a bit unusual. Do you let somebody know, or do you want to do Tribe of Judah way and keep it in the house and you don't let people outside know or something? Yeah. So that's, so he's raising concerns about how when something is becoming a little bit celebrated, or it's when it's now cool to talk about something, people talk about it. But when it's not that, you don't see as much rancor or as much hype as you'd see when it's the other way.
I do not agree with him, actually. I don't. Because, the outcry and outrage of Nigerians that that was expressed over the weekend, since the reports came to the fore, have been alarming. People have even been tagging ministers, tagging senators in Abuja, and tagging even the presidents, drawing the attention of every leader, to treat these, kidnapping cases as urgent, even as, because it's gone to the point where it has become a case of emergency and it needs to be treated as such. So to be honest, I really do not agree with him. Maybe he's, more focused on another part of social media, which is Instagram. But a lot was happening on the Twitter space over the weekend, even till yesterday. Even till yesterday, there were a lot of there has been crowdfunding accounts that has been circulated over the socials to try to raise monies for these kidnapped victims. Because other than the Abuja victims, there were also other remote cases that were being mentioned, whose families had to also use that opportunity to come online and cry out that please, these people have been kidnapped. They also need our help. So we are not crowdfunding for just one sector of people, while there are some other people who also need help and they're not also being mentioned. So I do not agree to it. And I'm also very, very I'm amazed at the support Nigerians, the support we've been getting so far, because I know that some monies have been raised to a large extent, and people are still, still putting monies together, even if it's not in cash, but in kind. There's just been that support on social media, and this is it's at this point that the government really, really, really needs to step in and treat this as urgent as possible.
Yeah, anyways, considering the guy, I won't actually put a lot of thoughts to him and whatever his comment was, because, going through a lot of comments under his post, just says, just kind of describes, the kind of personality that he is. Yeah, besides that, a lot of people are saying, charity begins at home, right? You're complaining about these things. You are a celebrity. You step out in the streets. So I think what he's actually referring to is the fact that people haven't come out like en masse to actually go out to protest. So I think that's what he's referring to. And my thoughts on that is literally, okay, so the ones that have been done in the past, what literally has been done? Most times we know that the Nigerian police is not necessarily into protests, because most times they actually go and try to disperse the crowd, even when it's peaceful and all of that. And we know, fine, protests are not necessarily encouraged because, of the security situation and what people usually turn it into and all of that. However, this is actually quite a sensitive situation, and I will even say one quite close to home, based on some experiences I've had recently. But then again, I think it's just sad, right, that the situation of insecurity in Nigeria has risen to this point. I mean, we always heard about it, but now I've literally been at a situation where I've had to closely listen in on like authorities meant to be in charge of certain things that have to do with security of Nigerians and civilians in this country. And to be very honest, it's not encouraging. So we talk about how a lot of civilians have come together to put monies together to help pay as ransom. But then again, what exactly is the government doing about this particular situation, right? As regards whether it's putting money aside or these people that are kidnapping people, they are reaching out to people, right? To have conversations based on, okay, fine, this is the ransom, this is where it's going to be paid and everything. Can't those numbers be traced? Are we really saying that the authorities really have no idea who these people are, considering the fact that this thing is something that has been rampant, so we haven't caught one that can lead us to the den of the others? Like, it's just a whole lot. And the truth is, I mean, I visited the police station during this festive season, and to be honest, you're going in to report a situation, even the body language, do you understand? Like, is in the end, it's your business.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, so why do we have a police force? What are they really doing? Why did you? Why everybody should literally be encouraged to literally have their own security, and then maybe like so is. To be honest, like the whole thing is really, really upsetting. I don't even want to talk anymore about it. So it's just sad. It's really, really sad. And a situation like this, and now the kidnappings that are happening, and irrespective of whether they know the family to be wealthy or not. So if we know that they're even targeting the wealthy ones, you know, okay, fine, bad as the bad, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, they will pay the ransom. But yeah, you're targeting people that literally have little or no livelihood. Where do you want them to raise such monies from? But nobody's even thinking about whether they can raise the money or where they are raising the money. The people kidnapping are just bent on, just give us our money, we don't care where.
And
it's just really sad. And the truth is, we Nigerians even raising the money to pay these ransoms,
It's not advisable. It's not even advisable. It's not advisable. But there's still so much to be said in regards to the insecurity that we are currently dealing with as a nation, and it's a cry for help. And I think at this point, the government really needs to step in and do something.
Yeah.
We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this one.
Thanks for staying with us. It's time for us to go through the front pages of the newspaper. And of course, I'm not doing this alone. I've got Mike with me. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start up with the Punch newspaper. Still on the abduction epidemic, anti-kidnapping protest holds in Abuja today as 10 suspects arrested. Tinubu vows crackdown on kidnappers, agents of darkness, abductors kill hotel barman. Federal government saves 8 trillion naira from subsidy removal, forex reform, says Tinubu panel. And the refinery, Dangote investors gain 1.2 trillion naira. And naira plunges to 1,300 per dollar at the parallel markets. And we also have your picture story of the explosion that rocked Ibadan yesterday as many feared dead. That's a pretty sad one. But then we're grateful that some investigation has begun on the kidnapping reports, that rocked over the weekend. Mike.
Okay, and then after that one, let's take a look at the Daily Independent. Okay. NCAA to review minimum 6 aircraft for intending airlines. The right underneath says stakeholders advise regulator on how to stimulate aviation growth. We also see here IGP asks DIG to coordinate upscale security strategies nationwide. Afenifere identifies state police restructuring as panacea. panacea to insecurity. Wike summons emergency meeting over Western insecurity in FCT. Fiscal federalism restructuring important for good governance. That is marking the 2024 gubernatorial poll. APC Edo stakeholders agree on direct primaries, rule out zoning. Party chairman Imuse resigns to contest for governorship ticket. I'll stamp out vestiges of Boko Haram and kidnappers and others. That's the president. Tinubu says Buhari assumed office at a very difficult period. Will continue to work from where he stopped. Above the flag there, we kept records expecting to be held accountable. Buhari says under his watch, nothing was done under secrecy. Shell to sell its Nigerian onshore oil and gas business for $1.3 billion. All of that on the front page of the Daily Independent.
All right. And of course, we still have the Guardian newspaper. And making the headlines here, federal government opts for conditional divestment as oil majors trade $4.5 billion assets. And here at by the corner of the paper, we have endless hurdles for Free Trade Zone Act 32 years after. And U.S. courts to repatriate over 5 billion naira stolen assets to Nigeria. And at the bottom of the paper here, we have still a picture story of the Ibadan explosion yesterday. The governor has called for calm as casualties and damaged buildings trail these incidents. And Wike summons emergency security meeting over kidnapping. I think to a large extent that's some good news. Also here we have inflation, currency depreciation undermining Nigeria's economic outlook. And you can find more of that story on on page 16 of the newspaper. We also have here federal government's order on border closure still in force, says custom. Interesting. State police restructuring security agencies panacea to kidnapping orders. And finally, we have here political class security chiefs promise action on killings, abduction epidemic. And you can find more on those headlines, more stories on those headlines, of course, on the Guardian newspaper. And I think, Mike, would you like to take Vanguard?
Okay, so Vanguard here. Let's take a look. The headline there, Tinubu weak rise against insecurity, VAR renewed action. Above the flag of the paper there, we can see NNPC should have privatized refineries before rehabilitation. Atiku. Shell reaches deal to sell onshore on-field oil fields for $2.4 billion. And there are conflicting figures in the different dailies. The exact figure is not sure. Based on what we have from these dailies, 83 illegal refineries uncovered in 1 week. I prepared myself for probe, Buhari. Then below there we can see buildings destroyed as explosion rocks parts of Ibadan. And FG building fiscal resilience to reduce foreign borrowing. That's from the finance minister. Sports, AFCON 2023. Nigerians should keep supporting us. Trust Ekong begs. We'll try, Sha. Palliatives funds. There's plots to link Baja from a source on Supreme Court judgment. Don't throw Nasarawa into crisis. APC. All of that on the front page of the Vanguard. And of course, you can check out the individual stories on the page numbers as you see there.
Okay, I'll take one final newspaper. Here we have the Nigerian Tribune. Still on the explosion that rocked Ibadan yesterday. Explosion rocks section of Ibadan. And here on the riders here, security men flood part of Bodija Estate. Many injured rushed to UCH, other hospitals. Vibration from blast felt across city. Houses shattered, destroyed, malls affected. Government describes explosion as uncommon. Deploys security, paramilitary chiefs, fire service operatives, and NEMA staff part of rescue operation. Number of dead and injured unknown, says the police. So far, we have no reports. We have no numbers, no we don't have a number of the casualties in the explosion, in the Ibadan explosion. But so yeah, let's check the top of the paper here. Why I didn't sack Emefiele, says Buhari, defends Nigeria redesign policy. Like Buhari, I have adopted policy of non-interference, says Tinubu. On Plateau attacks, Middle Belt, Southern leaders advocate state policing. And quickly, I'll just take stories here at the bottom of the paper. Of course, we still have picture stories of the Ibadan explosion here on the cover. And APC adopts direct primaries for Edo Guber poll. And you can find more of that story on page 13. And Ombu Gadu tells Supreme Court to declare him winner of Nasarawa governorship election. And finally, on fiscal federalism, restructuring important for good governance, says Makinde. And Tinubu, Shatima, governors, others extol Akonde's mentorship, leadership virtues. And that's all we can take on the front pages this morning. And so go grab your own paper. I mean, you can find more of that stories and read up on them. And we have to head over to the kitchen now and see what's cooking already. Hey, Winfrey.
Can I go with these gloves? No, just fine. Welcome into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. Welcome into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and I have with me here a brand new chef because today is her first time. Hi, chef. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So she goes by the name Isivakome. I got it right?
Yeah, Isivakome.
Adeluka. Ah, amazing, amazing. Also known as Chef Patsy.
Yeah.
All right, so now tell me how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing too?
I'm doing good,
Yeah.
thank you. How does it feel being on Wake Up Nigeria?
So good.
For the first time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Amazing. Okay, so now our chef is coming in healthy. Why? Because it's January and she knows that most of you started a new year and new resolution after what you did in December, but we'll not tell them. Anyway, chef, what are we making today?
So we're making parfait, fruit parfait today.
Fruit parfait today, all
Very
right?
healthy.
Very, very healthy,
Very
of
healthy.
course, because we have fruits, we have whole grains, and we have nuts, and we have Greek yogurt, of course.
Yeah.
So now tell me, run us through the ingredients you're using today, because I know
Okay.
people make parfaits different ways.
Yeah, different ways.
Yeah.
Mine is very unique because of the fruits that I infuse in them.
Okay.
So here we have Greek yogurt. It's a little bit sweetened, but some might take it not sweet at all. But I like to make it a little bit sweet for those that want it.
Yeah.
So here we have grains, oats with some dry fruits
Yes.
mixed in, the fresh apples.
Okay.
Here we have kiwi, strawberry, and we have
Grapes.
Yeah, we have some nuts,
Yeah.
almond nuts, cashew nuts. So, and
Alright.
the cup,
And
the
a cup.
knife, and everything to go. So basically, what you have in parfait cup is the yogurt and the fruits.
And the fruits,
And the
okay.
fruits.
All right, amazing. It
fruits.
actually looks simple, straight to the point. It doesn't seem like it's going to stress us out, right? To be honest, I was not so much of a fan of parfait.
You're gonna
but
love it
somebody
after this.
somewhere introduced me to it, reintroduced me to it, and yeah, I started enjoying it. So now on the screen, you literally have your recipe right there. We have fruit parfait, the ingredients. We have sweet yogurt, Greek yogurt in this case, apples, green apples, grapes, oats, and dried fruits mixture, almond nuts, cashew nuts, strawberry, kiwi, optional. To be honest, parfait is a delight. So the truth is you can literally do whatever you want to do with it, right? With whatever fruits you actually like. So now tell us, what process, how would you be making it? What's your arrangements and structure like?
Okay. It's a very simple breakfast. I take it as breakfast because I recommend people to live healthy. So
Yeah.
It's very simple, very fast to make. It won't take your time. So basically, once you have your yogurts ready, you put your yogurt in the cup, cut your fruits, and just arrange them the way you want to arrange
Wait,
them.
one time. So is there an order? Does the oats go first to create
Okay, fine.
the foundation?
Yeah, you create the foundation with the Greek yogurt.
Oh, okay.
Then the oat goes in.
Yeah.
The fruits goes
Go
in.
in.
Then again, you come in with the yogurt.
Okay.
You put your fruit. Then there's this
Okay.
important part of it that is the topping. So people like to see it looking very attractive. So that's when
Yeah.
you come in with your. You get the strawberry, the kiwi. It gives you that attractive
That
look.
attractive
So by the
look
time
and-
you see it, you want to crave for more.
You want to crave for
understand
more.
me?
Amazing.
You're going to crave for more today after taking this.
All right, that every kind of way. Something I also noticed is that I noticed this literally has your logo on it. So does that mean you produce
Yeah, from the scratch. I
from the
produce
scratch?
my yogurt
Okay,
from the scratch.
that's great. So now how long have you been doing this for?
Like a year now.
Like a year now. But tell me about Patsy smoothies and juices. What
Patsy's
exactly are you guys about?
Smoothies and juices. We're about weight loss, weight management, and we are into juice, smoothies, everything healthy, tiger nuts, zobo, fruit ampas. This year, we just dive into mocktail, cocktail, finger foods.
Finger foods,
Because I have
okay.
customers, I have clients coming to ask me for them, so I've infused it
Infused
into
it
our
into
business.
your-
But
okay.
basically for me, what actually made me come into this was for
Yes.
myself. I used to
Yes.
be a plus size.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
I started working on myself by these fruits,
Okay.
by the kind of things I eat and all that.
yes.
So when I saw that it was working for me, from like I used to weigh for like 100 and something, 110
Oh,
something. Now
wow, are
I
you
weigh
serious?
like 70, 73.
Wow.
So when I saw that it worked for me, so now I am ready to preach the good news everywhere I go. That
Yeah.
eating healthy is just the way
It's
to
actually
go.
the way to
Eat
go.
right, eat right. Some will take this as snack, but I always advise they take it as breakfast.
As breakfast,
Just take it as
right?
a meal.
So if you have this as breakfast, what would your lunch be like?
My lunch could be rice with salad.
Okay.
Very healthy meal.
Okay.
Then dinner I could do just a portion, just the fist of my hand, like the swallow with a lot of vegetable.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's
Yeah.
a normal life. I tell them that losing weight is not.
It's not difficult.
It doesn't
right?
make you live abnormal. Just try and be normal and try to do everything in portion.
All right,
That's just
amazing.
all.
We've
So-
literally heard here from Chef Patu right now. Our parfait is literally on the way, so we're going to allow Chef to dice up all of this. And of course, when we come back, she'll be showing us how exactly she's arranging it into the cup. We're going on a quick break right now. When we come back, Wake Up Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
We have relationship coming right up now. And the topic this morning is men and the Omugwo conversation in marriage. Miracle Ihoma is here with us. Good morning. Great to have you.
Morning.
What concerns men with the Omugwo conversation?
Yeah. Okay. So there was a particular article where some men began to complain about how that their wives are taken away from them during Omugwo, and sometimes these women get to stay as long as 6 months, 1 year, and then that's obliterates their own need, and all of that in that period, and so it looks like some sort of protest coming from men.
Okay.
To say that men give us back our wives in that sense.
But those men, when the woman that left was pregnant, didn't they have Omugwo? Didn't somebody else come to help her?
Of course, they did. They did. Which is
So what's the validity of their consent, as it were, if somebody else had to be there? Because for a nursing mom, we know that there are some nursing moms that not by their own wish or by their own will have had to maybe take care of themselves alone, but it is not optimal.
Yeah.
You need help at those particular points in stages. And as it is, family comes in, either the mother-in-law or the mother comes in to help at this particular point in time. So I don't know. I would want to question the validity of such a protest, as it were. That's for me.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things to consider right here. Right. First of all, just like you've said, and I understand what you're saying, to say that for me, the way I even see it is, okay, what needs are you talking about? Is it food? For some men, it's food. It's, nobody to take care of the house in that sense. That's why it's very important that you are self-sufficient as a human being. You maintain your individuality even in a marriage, right? Because in cases like that, you would need to bring out your resourcefulness in those particular areas. Because before you got married, who was cooking for you? Before you got married, who was taking care of the home or your home for you? So it's very important that you are self-sufficient and resourceful, right? That's why a lot of these things are life skills. They're not necessarily marriage skills, right? I tell people that cooking, for instance, is for humans, not for women. Right? So as a human being, you should learn how to cook. As a human being, you should know how to take care of your space. It doesn't have to be the female gender that does it, right? So that's one area to consider. But another aspect of that conversation is the fact that Yeah, it's also important for those women who are going for Omugo to also be considerate. Everybody needs to be considerate in that setting. Owning to the fact that, yeah, I have my commitment is first to my husband, and vice versa. My commitment as a husband is first to my wife before my children, right? And to say that whatever it is I'm going to do, which is my third point, has to be from a point of agreement. So I can't just do things based on my own volition. We are in a union together, and when I'm taking decisions that concerns or is going to affect the other party, it's important that I run it through them so that we are in agreement. So say, okay, as you are going for this Omugo, how long are you going to spend? It makes sense to spend 1 month. It makes sense to spend 2 months, right? And all of that. Not just to go for the Omugo and then come back after 6 months, without a reasonable explanation. So all of this should be put into context and into consideration when women are going for Omugo and things like that.
Okay, so there was also the question about how some women, incidentally, it was trending on social media a few days, about a week ago, about how some women who go for Omugo, as it were, are not actually even helpful. That some of them just go and it's like a vacation for them. So they leave their husbands, go to these places.
Yeah.
It's vacation. They are not helping to maybe clean the baby or maybe helping with house chores or maybe even helping with cooking. And as at that point, they go for a mini vacation. They are sitting down, getting somebody else to get food for them, and all of that. How, in that particular scenario, people are talking about, look, okay, so what's the point? Why doesn't she go back? But maybe because it's a mother or because it's a mother-in-law, there's that thing about being sensitive or being careful so as not to hurt somebody else's, as it were, as though they are goodwill towards you, as though not to hurt their feelings or such in some sort of way. But that conversation was had online. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. So I even had a friend who complained to me recently about, how a mother-in-law came to visit in the UK, and then it was, in fact, things became even more complex for them, than it should be, because they now had to be serving her instead of her.
She came from Nigeria.
Yes, she came from Nigeria.
If within Nigeria, yeah, not the very case. They can't leave here. They
Yeah,
go there.
and they were the ones serving her, instead of the other way around, right? So yeah, that's very much valid, and of course, a lot of mothers don't just go for those Omugos for the sole purpose of taking care of children. For some mothers, it's some sort of vacation, it's some sort of relief. Let me go and relax. For some, it's let me reconnect with my child. It's been a while I spent a good amount of time with my child. So it's a lot of those things for mothers, not just going there to take care of the child alone. Maybe there should be some orientation in that sense. And that's why it's very good for mother and child to have a good relationship where you can effectively communicate to your mom and say, or to, your mom, right? So if it's the guy's mom that is coming,
exactly. That's where it's now a
the
little
guy
bit,
comes in.
especially when it's the guy's mom. Optimally, I don't know if you are the one, if you can answer that question, but optimally, if both of them are available, because there are some times when, maybe due to a number of issues, mom is not available, or maybe she's passed on or something like that. Yeah. And then maybe the mother-in-law has to do it at this particular point in time, which can be a little bit, because the mother-in-law doesn't know the woman as much as her mother would have known, or some mother something. It's almost like, as at that point in time, it's almost like two different people coming to meet at that first time. So there's a lot of even getting to know each other before understanding. In such scenarios, how can one ensure that they handle it in such a way that they don't, cause friction? Because that at times we've seen situations where where a mother-in-law is the one that does the Mugu, and then that's the beginning of friction between her and the daughter-in-law.
Yes. Of course, that's where if it's the mother of the man, and anybody actually, the person whose child it is has a lot of role to play there, because you are like the middleman. So you should create some sort of level playing field, bring some sort of soft landing for both mother and child, because a lot of the times, just like you've said, the other party is careful about how they want to relate with the mother-in-law. Oh, I don't know if she would like this, or if, she would be cool with that. So it's now in the place of the other partner whose mother it is to now speak to the mother about certain things, about expectations, and then speak to the partner as well about those expectations and things like that. And then be that middleman that brings or bridges that gap between the both of them, to have that level playing field for the both of them. So yeah.
Because as at that particular point, I feel like the mother of a child or the nursing mother at that time is quite vulnerable. She's dealing with quite a number of issues. I mean, there could be postpartum depression and all of that. So in that particular scenario, benefit of doubt in this particular time should be given to the nursing mother at this point. But she's the one who's vulnerable. She's the one who needs all the care and all of that. But like you said, being considerate and talking about it, like you said, from the other side of the woman who's living to a house, being considerate and all of that. But you see, where, like I said, in some kind of situations, friction does happen, and the man, like you mentioned, can come in between and all of that. And so the scenario. What is the case of where that doesn't happen? What can a nursing mom do? Where the man doesn't come in or doesn't try to sort the situation, what can a nursing mom, or what word would you give to the mother doing the omugo do in a situation whereby maybe the man is not around in such a scenario?
In such a scenario, there is really how to deal with in-laws, right? In one of my books, I talked about an acronym called PRAISE, where one of the things you do is to praise your in-laws, right? Anybody who you praise would get their guards down. So you need to praise them. You need to respond respectfully to their intentions, right? You need to accept them. You need to interview them, right? Because everybody wants to be interviewed. So for instance, if I walk up to my mother-in-law, and no matter how she is, and say, Mom, I just want to know, tell me, how is it, living with a man? What do you think are the keys to having a successful marriage? Now, you are coming in as a student, but then you're making her vulnerable. Because when it begins to share, then there's that connection that happens between the both of you, right? So those are some of the ways. The S there is steadily serve her, right? And then the last one there is exceed her expectations, right? So whatever it is that she wants, exceed those expectations. Because what you want to do is for her to buy into you. And once she does that, see, mother-in-laws can be sweet, right? And if they buy into you and they get to like you, in fact, they would even begin to take sides with you in that sense. So you need to just be tactical about how you go about it, in establishing that relationship between yourself and your in-law.
All right, thank you very much. I hope people are able to get something from that one. Thank you, Miracle. All right, that's it on our relationship discussion this morning. We'll take a time out now. When we get back on the other side, it's the second lap of the show. Thank you.
Welcome back, fantastic viewers, to the second hour of the Wake Up Nigeria Wednesday Rendezvous. We're geared, guys, as always, to keep your spirits soaring.
1 hour so far. We've had a relationship, of course. We've looked at the papers and reviewed them. We've had something wonderful going on in the kitchen. If you missed that 1 hour, you still have 45 minutes to ensure that we get your Wednesday rolling.
And the relationship discussion on the Omugo, that trended over the weekend.
Okay, yeah, this stuff.
Talked about.
Exactly. That's why I tried to mention and all of that. How they said some people go for vacation and all of that. I think that's really being quite inconsiderate for a mom to go somewhere and then just chill.
Chilling.
Exactly, and just relax. And I think that was the bane of a conversation when they're talking about it. How some people use that for vacation. if you're going to go, then please be helpful to the vulnerable
Yeah.
nursing mother at that particular point in time. She is the center of whatever is happening.
Exactly. And of course, we still have more interesting conversations coming up for those of you who ate too much over the holiday and are still eating. Well, we have some interesting conversations on nutrition coming up. But hey, Wednesdays on the shows here are not just about the middle of the week. We're also here to fuel your motivation and keep you charged and refocused. And of course, yes, so my name is Ime Okocha. I need to remind you.
And I'm Mike Messikeno. You can hit us up on social media at TVC Entertainment _ use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC for you to interact with us. Also available on our app, which you can download on Apple and the Android store. All right, so like we said, nutrition, that's what we're talking about. So we're starting with the second hour today. We're looking at nutrition and
We're talking on stubborn fat.
Stubborn
and
fat.
Food consumption.
see that thing about
How
fat?
is
It's diet. We'll talk about that, and that's why it's on nutrition.
Elvis is an actor and film producer who is featured, who has 2 feature films to his credit and also has starred in various movies. And he'll be joining us to share his journey with us so far. And of course, to, kick off the nutrition conversation, we're heading over to the kitchen because they're making something quite, diet.
Yep.
For those of you who are on a diet or who are on a fitness journey with your mouths, will hopefully, whatever's so good, the smoothie or you parfait can help. It can be an ideal. We can take you through that journey.
What's happening?
Over to you, Winfrey.
All right, welcome back into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. I must say, December was interesting. Decembers are always interesting. All the parties, all the eating, all the drinking, and then it's usually a struggle getting back into, that diet you maintained from the beginning of the year. Now it's another year, start of another year. It's time to get back in there. And Chef Patsy is here, dedicated to helping us get right back. Now, I think the idea behind literally healthy living is to make it a lifestyle, right?
Yes.
As opposed to just it's falling. But then again, how was your December like, though? What was your diet like in December?
It was very interesting, like I've said to myself, for you to actually live a healthy lifestyle, you need to be intentional about it.
Yeah, let me help you
so
open
I've
this.
been intentional about my lifestyle for a while.
So even in
now.
December, you were still intentional?
Yeah, I
Are
was
you sure?
intentional. Really.
Wow.
It has become a habit.
Yeah.
When you do something over and over again, it becomes part of you.
Okay, so now let me help you scoop. So we're having the yogurts first, right?
Yeah.
Right, so do I put them in the cup?
Oh, you want to help me?
Yes, let me help you now.
The
That's what I'm
phone, but you're
here.
wearing a glove, and I didn't bring an extra glove.
Ah.
So we need to
I'm
have
not
our
touching.
food 100%. We need
She
to
just literally chase me out of the kitchen.
Yeah. Hygiene is the key.
Hygiene is the key.
Yeah.
All
we
right.
don't need to cook before we eat this kind of food. So
Yeah,
we need
no,
to
no
make sure
problem.
everything is on
It's
point.
clean and on
Very,
point.
very
And I like it. I love it. Absolutely.
So I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
No, it's fine. Nothing to sorry about. Okay, so in case you're just joining us, we're here with Chef Patsy and we're making parfait, right? Patsy, parfait. You see? See what I did there? It goes. Was that
Patsy
intentional?
parfait.
Patsy parfait.
That's it.
Patsy parfait. That actually sounds really good. Okay, so now she's scooping the Greek yogurt into the cup. Now, just for people that don't know, what would you say is the difference between normal yogurt and then Greek yogurt?
Greek yogurts, you've
Just keep on doing what we're
Okay.
doing, yeah?
the normal yogurt has it with the whey. But Greek yogurt, you'd have removed the whey from it.
whey,
Yeah,
okay.
you've drained the whey
Yeah,
out
so
of
it
it.
makes it more nutritious, less fatty.
Less fatty and more nutritious.
Oh, okay, amazing. Okay, now the apples, the diced green apples are going in.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, just a handful thereabout.
Yeah, just a handful.
Yeah. No, so in case you say you don't eat apples, I think you're weird if you don't eat apples.
No,
but then
some
again,
people don't eat
Yeah.
apples, so they just tell me I don't want apple
apples
in my...
and yeah, right. But then
But I
again,
feel-
you can substitute with any other fruit.
Yeah, with the oats.
With the oats, okay, or any other fruits that you
Any
actually
other
really
fruit
like.
of your choice.
Yeah. So I mean, yesterday I was actually watching a video about soursop, and I think those are actually really
Very, 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 very healthy.
very healthy, very sweet, but quite expensive as well. So how
Expensive.
do you deal with deal with the fruit price of things now in the market?
Okay, very well. It has not been funny, I must say.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm currently thinking of reviewing my price because right now it's as if the
Yeah.
production,
Just keep on.
It's as if what I do right now, I'm just producing, I'm not making
You're not making any profit,
anymore
true.
because everything I do right now is eating into the production costs. So I'm thinking of reviewing my price very, very soon. It's
Okay.
been crazy
Yeah.
lately. The
'Cause
price of
fruits,
fruits in the
yes.
market have been really, really crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not funny at all.
I can
Even the price
imagine.
of milk. You know, I didn't really say much about this milk. You know, I make from the scratch.
Oh, yes.
Price
yes,
of milk.
yes.
Every day you go to buy a bag of milk, they tell you they've added money.
They've added money. Are you
Every
serious?
time I
Wow.
go to buy, they keep adding money. And
Okay.
no, this business. Okay,
Yeah.
let me
No, it's fine. I guess you're really into it. We'll definitely come back to that conversation. But right now, let's check out what the weather is like. We'll be right back.
And we're back. Thanks for staying with us. On nutrition this morning, we will be looking at a myth, stubborn fats. Now, the question is, does stubborn fat exist? Well, to let us know if it is a myth or a fact is Bode Agbe Davis. She's a certified fitness trainer and transformation specialist. She's well known for the Body Create method. She also focuses on guiding women, especially those aged 35 and above, in making simple and sustainable changes to their mindset, habits, and routines. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now let's get right into it. Stubborn
Right.
fats.
Yes.
Are there or are there not stubborn fats?
Okay, I hope people don't hate me for this, but there hardly is stubborn fat, to be honest. So when a person says they have stubborn fat, what do they really mean?
Okay.
They're usually referring to fat, usually in specific areas, right? So for women, we tend to touch here, maybe the hips, and it's fat that isn't moving as fast as they would want it to, or maybe their body has changed and they've settled into this much rounder shape over the years, and it just looks like they've stuck with this fat for a while. So that's really what people mean when they say stubborn fat. But really, it's not that stubborn. If people do the right things with their nutrition and diet, and they do it consistently
underline the word
consistently and are patient, eventually that fat will move.
Now let's, break it. Let's go down right to the diets.
Right.
I mean, to our nutrition.
Right.
First off, let us look out for areas
Okay.
which because you said stubborn fats in some fats are being stored in some areas.
Yes.
So what are the areas in the body?
Okay.
That these fats are noticeable.
Okay.
Then we get right into the nutrition.
So I think it's good to talk about two types of fat and differentiate them. So we have fat everywhere in our body, right? We're bones, we're muscle, we're fat, we're blood, and all of that. So we usually have the subcutaneous fat, which is usually the one that is right under the skin. So that's the one you can pinch right there.
Yeah.
And then there's the visceral fat. Now that's usually the one for concern, because this is the one deep inside the belly that wraps around the organs, right? So when you start to have this really, we call it a bare belly, usually for guys, or that pot protruding belly, that is something to be worried about, because then there's visceral fat wrapping around the organs, and that can lead to chronic diseases and all of that. Right, but how does a person know if they have visceral fat?
Exactly.
So one of the things that I like to use is, so first of all, you should be doing your annuals. You should be checking your blood work. You should be checking your vitals, checking what your cholesterol levels are, your sugar levels, and all of that.
How often should we do this?
You should be doing it every year.
Every year.
Every year.
Okay.
At least once a year.
Okay.
Whether you have a condition or not, because this is how you catch things very quickly. But at home, there's something called the waist to hip ratio that I absolutely love, because sometimes as women, we're vain. There's really nothing wrong, but we think there's something going on. A simple waist to hip ratio where you take the measurement of your waist and then your hips and you divide that. If you just go to Google and just type in waist to hip ratio, a simple chart comes up. So based on the figure you get, you'll know if this is something to be worried about or not. So that's a very simple way to just check that.
Okay, so when you check the waist, your waist measurement, and then the hip one,
Yes.
you divide or
Yes, you
measure it
divide.
by
So you
what?
divide your waist, the measurement of the waist by the hips, and then it'll give you like a 0 point something to 1 point something. You just check that value on the chart that comes up on the internet, and that kind of tells you if you need to be worried or not. Because you can't be slim, and that's another mistake people make.
Yeah.
You can be slim and still have a decent amount of visceral fat that you need to actually worry about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about our nutrition.
Yes.
What do we need to, what would you advise in terms of our nutrition to help, to avoid, this stubborn fat.
So it usually comes down to a number of things. People always want one thing. There's no one thing. It really comes down to the quality and the quantity of your nutrition. So quality in terms of trying to avoid as much as possible what we call ultra-processed, highly palatable foods.
Ultra processed.
Yes.
Okay.
So before we just used to say avoid processed foods, but not all processed foods are bad. Because even rice is processed to some degree. It isn't bad for you. Gari is processed to some degree.
Yeah.
It isn't bad for you. So what we want to minimize, highly processed, ultra palatable. You know those foods that when it hits your tongue, like there's just this, it gives you this, you know. I'm a sweet tooth myself.
Okay.
So it's like the sugar rush and
Give us
all
a
of
few
that.
examples.
Like ice cream,
okay, I had that
pizza. Me too. And I'm not saying you don't have these things. You just can't be having them every day. Even suya. I'm sorry, don't hate me. You need to be very careful with things like that.
Hey,
pastries.
calling
I
out
know. Pastries. Things that are. It's usually high in a combination of fat, sugar, and salt. We need to be careful with those. Some of these things contain trans fat. Trans fat has really, a lot of manufacturers have stopped using it. It's been banned in lots of countries, but some still contain trans fat. Trans fat does allow us to store fat in the abdominal region. They're high, again, like I said, in fat, sugar, salt. So that means they're high in calories. And at the end of the day, fat storage is about excess calories. So it's excess energy. When you are taking in more food than you need to maintain your weight, the excess amount is going to be stored as fat in the body.
Yes.
So we're consistently consuming these highly processed, ultra-palatable foods that are high in calories. You're going to have excess energy and your body is going to store it. So you want to minimize those as much as possible. You want to make sure that you're eating mostly a whole food diet. Very controversial. We think, oh, don't eat rice, don't eat swallow. Those things are bad for you. Those things aren't bad for you. Some of them are fantastic. For example, our body needs them. Gari is fantastic. We talk about, oh, we want probiotics and things like that. You can find those in fermented foods like gari, like fufu.
Probiotics, really?
Yeah. Wow. So those things are good for you. The problem is usually the quantity. So that's where we come to the quantity of the food.
Now let's go into that because, to be honest, we can eat for Africa. Now, we've had a lot of experts come on the show and talk about portion control, but I really do not think that it can be overemphasized, right? Because it also helps us to, put our weights and our diets in check. It helps us also control, our calorie levels and our cholesterol levels in our bodies as well. So let's talk about, the portions that we need to, look out for. We need to, in helping us, with our diet.
Right. So there are many ways to go about portion control, but there are two things that I would give now as a tip. The first is to use smaller plates.
Smaller plates?
Just use smaller plates.
How small?
It can even be so not the regular big size plates that we use to serve food, so maybe like the medium size.
Okay.
So whatever plate you're using right now, just use something smaller. It doesn't have to be, don't make large changes, just something smaller than that. Okay. So that's one thing you can do, because the truth is, whatever food you put on your plate, there's a tendency to finish it even after you're full.
Very true, very true.
But if you use a smaller plate, you're going to dish on smaller food, and then there's going to be time for you to think, am I full? Do I actually want more? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, then take that plate, divide it into three. So first, divide it into two halves. Take the first half and fill that with vegetables. If you like salads, fine. If you don't, that's fine. It can be your local vegetable soup. I am a Yoruba girl. I love eforiro, so I'm usually going to put some kind of eforiro there. So let half of your plate be vegetables. Then the other half, divide that into two, protein on one side and carbs on the other side. So that's a very simple way to start approaching portion control.
Okay, thank you so much. This was very short, simple, and quick, easy steps that we could look out for. First off, identifying where the fats are, and most importantly, diets, food portion control.
The quality
Thank you
and
so
quantity.
much. And we'll continue this conversation next week with another myth-busting topic, right?
Yes,
fantastic.
definitely.
All right, and I hope that you did not just hear it, but you listened. And so right now, if you're in the kitchen and you're about to dish food portion, it's so, and that's it right on the nutrition segment. We're going to a quick break, people. The show continues shortly. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for a final conversation with Nwankwo Duke Elvis, popularly known as Duke Elvis. He's an actor and a film producer who has over 2 feature films to his credit.
Yes, of course. He also starred in movies like Kingmaker, Fence of the Fence, Silhouette, Juju Stories, and so much more. Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here. Particularly love your photos. So nice
The one with
and
the orange
beautiful.
background.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Seems like a lot of intentionality went into it. But hey, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So your breakout role was in the Johnsons,
Yeah.
and I particularly love your character in the
Thank you
Johnsons.
very much.
You know, you've done it for over 10 years now.
12 years now, yeah.
12 years
Wow.
now.
12 years, yeah.
Talk to us about how that started.
So I've always had a flair for film and television. I had moved from Abuja to Lagos to pursue film. Yeah, I had a 9 to 5 in Abuja, but I woke up one day and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I needed to pursue what I really wanted to do. I wanted job satisfaction, and I passionately wanted to pursue film and TV. So I moved to Lagos. And in the first year of me moving to Lagos, that was when I landed the gig. Yeah, and it was like everything I hoped for happening in such a short time.
Okay, no, wait. You said you wanted job satisfaction,
Yeah.
and you entered into Nollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, job satisfaction in the sense that I wanted to do something
Not
that would...
security, though.
No, not security. Not security at that time.
Okay,
Because I knew that the financial security part was going to take a while, and of course it took a while, a long while. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but when I say job satisfaction, I meant doing something I really wanted to do and going home and I'm happy. Yeah, because even on the long run, the money is never a reason for you to want to do it.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
And you were in the Johnsons for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then it seemed as if you were not going into other projects. Why was that?
Okay, so I think it's basically something that happens to television actors.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you are somewhat a TV actor, it's mostly difficult to break into films because most people see, oh, he's a television actor.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's this label, there's this stereotype, so it takes a while. Even in Hollywood, there are actors that basically just do television, they don't do films. So you rarely see them in films. All right, so that was what I was dealing with, but gladly we're breaking out of it.
Yeah, breaking out. It actually makes a whole lot of sense because even foreign, right? We look at foreign series as well. You see the series actors and the film actors.
Yeah.
When you see the series, and also because the projects are probably elongated.
Yes.
So now, which would you say you enjoy more? Would you say having something constant and consistent? You know, we'll call you back year after year,
Or just
you
a one-off
rather
project?
one here and there.
Okay, so you talked about job security, financial security.
Yeah.
So I think television gives you that.
Gives you that,
Because you
okay.
know, oh, okay, so this is going to span for like
For a long
one full year. For example, the Johnsons will film for 11 months. So for the next 11 months, I am not worried about money.
Okay.
All right, but as a TV, as a film actor, except you are probably an A-list actor who is very busy every other
So,
month,
yes.
you can't possibly plan with that. Yeah.
Let's talk about going for auditions because I sort of got that feeling from the conversation earlier. Talk to us about the your mental state, right? Going for an audition and not getting that role, because I imagine being in a TV production for a long time and wanting to break out of that of that genre, basically, let's put it that way,
Yeah.
right, into film. Talk to us about that struggle and that transition.
For me as an actor, I love auditions. Okay. Right, I feel it should be the right way for people to get cast in a film.
Okay.
All right, so table casting happens here, that's okay. But mostly, I think it's okay, it's very important that we also source for new talents through auditions. All right, so we can give new actors, new upcoming actors, a chance to actually prove themselves. Because nobody would actually look at you and say, oh, she's a fantastic actor, except you do something. Yeah, and there has to be a chance for that, which rarely happens except if someone sees you in an audition, on an audition ground. All right, so auditions for me is a good thing. All right, so but when you go for auditions and you don't get it, it can be mentally strenuous. All right, it can be very disappointing, very you are discouraged. All right, but you don't stop. You just keep moving and pushing until you break even.
All right. Now, you spoke about auditions being a way, if done properly,
Yes,
to
if done
select new talents. Now, let's talk about you as a producer. Now, being the one behind that. First of all, what spurred you into going into movie or film production?
Okay, so for me, I've always wanted to tell my own stories. All right, apart from the financial gain that comes with being a producer, I've always wanted to have me tell my own story, create jobs for people, gather people together, pay them to do something for me. So I've always wanted to do that. It's something I've always wanted to do. You know, get to be the one who calls the shots.
boss.
Yeah, get to be the boss. Yeah, you know, call the shot and gather people together. Like, oh yeah, this production is run by me. There's this satisfaction it gives me. Yeah, so that was basically what moved me into it. And I also believe that on the long run, I just do not want to be known as an actor. I also wanted to be referred to as a filmmaker.
Okay.
In total, yeah.
Okay. Now, your latest project, which is currently on Prime, Undercover?
Deep Cover.
Sorry. It tells an undercover story.
Yeah.
And it basically just, takes us, on a journey into the world of crime.
Yeah.
And why crime?
Okay, so we basically chose that story because at the time we filmed I filmed that story in 2021.
Okay.
No, 2020. Yeah, it was in 2020. That was when I made the film. So I realized that a lot of our young people have basically resorted to internet fraud, cybercrime, and all of that. So we wanted to highlight the downsides to that.
Okay.
All right, we wanted to discourage young people from thinking that this is the only way, this is the easy and the only way to make money quickly. So we wanted to dissuade them and show them the perils of cybercrime and internet fraud. Basically why we chose the story.
Okay.
What was it like pulling resources together for that particular project?
That was my first film project. It was overwhelming.
Okay. You finally felt what it was like
Yes,
to be a
it
boss.
was, it was overwhelming. And it took me, say, 2-3 years to make another film, which is in post right now. Yeah. After that.
All right. All right. It was so great, giving us a glimpse into your world as an actor and as a film producer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And Sotiri, I hope you're on a diet because to build these muscles, you need to be on a strict diet.
Okay, so I'm not on a diet. I eat whenever I'm hungry.
You are so lucky. You are blessed. But hey, we have to head over to the kitchen now.
Oh, okay.
Our chef has something special.
Oh.
So shall we?
All right.
After you.
It's the everyday. And this was when I realized that not all vulnerable girls will have the protection of a Tarzan or the justice of a fair system.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, welcome into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. I have here with me Chef Patsy, and she's been hard at work creating this parfait. Are you a fan of parfait?
Yes, I am.
You reduce the muscle for Johnson's or what?
Oh, we are
They
seeing
edited it.
They didn't even-
So we have parfait for you. I would love for you to try it out and let us know exactly what you think about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Chef, tell us what is in it as he enjoys the parfait. Tell us. What's in it?
Okay, fine. So what he's having now? Yogurts, oats, dry fruits that we call granola. We have strawberry, grape, cashew nuts, almond nuts, kiwi, and lots more.
Yes.
Wow.
It is
Something.
very
rich.
Very,
So
very
rich.
rich. And something very interesting about the particular parfait you're having is that it's made out of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
And the Greek yogurt is made by herself.
Yeah.
Sell your market. Sell your market. Sell your market.
Yes, yes.
She made.
I make
Yeah.
yogurt, I sell
Yogurt.
yogurt.
So yogurt.
I sell parfait, zobo, the best tiger nuts in Nigeria.
Hallelujah.
Wow.
You're coming from a regular customer,
What
she
do you
does.
think, though? What
Yeah,
do you
he's
think?
my,
That's
he's
very
my
nice.
customer.
It's very nice. I mean, I'm an oat fan. I like the fact that you have to sprinkle some oats on it. It's beautiful. I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done. Thank you so much, Chef. Well done.
And this one is for the regular customer.
And so you, our viewers, most importantly for watching, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you same time tomorrow. Have a great day ahead.
Bye.
Bye.